The information shared on this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. While we discuss topics related to mental health, well-being, and emotional support, we are not providing therapy or medical services. Always seek the advice of your physician, psychologist, psychiatrist, or other qualified mental health provider with any questions you may have regarding a mental health condition. If you are in crisis, feeling unsafe, or need immediate support, please contact a mental health professional or emergency services in your area. The views expressed by guests and hosts are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of any affiliated organizations or institutions.
Get inspired, get motivated with M.A.Y.A and the M.A.Y.A, My Ambition, Your Ambition podcast.
Something that I take pride in is trying to be forward thinking, thinking outside the box, challenging myself. And as I challenge myself, hopefully I challenge you.
Find M.A.Y.A on Twitter and Instagram at M.A.Y.A_Akai. On Facebook at M.A.Y.A Akai Presents.
We're going to talk health, wealth, fitness, mental health, financial, lots of different things that can empower you as you seek out the ambition that you're pursuing.
Or get everything M.A.Y.A at MAYAAkai.com.
Namaste, everyone. Welcome to episode, 83 of M.A.Y.A, My Ambition, Your Ambition, the podcast that I like to say looks at embracing mental wellness from a fresh and forward-thinking perspective. We know how taboo it can be. I like to focus on the podcasts that can pull back a veil of self-doubt and sabotage that plagues so many of us in our everyday life. And the key thing is here to help you to identify the ambitions and to help you harness that motivation to be successful in every aspect of your life you seek to be. So if you are a first-time listener or viewer, it's okay. I just like to say buckle up for safety, because occasionally it can be an unexpected bumpy ride. Because something that might be said that makes you say, and that's okay. And of course, you're a returning listener or viewer. Welcome back. You know how we do things here. Man, it's Monday at 2:00, so you might just be listening in, and that's all good. I'm totally great with that. I always say if you can, grab pencil, paper, so you can jot down maybe something that has been said, so you can come back and revisit it later. This is the 15th installment of the Ambition Show. And up until this point, I have had 14 amazing guests. Can I just absolutely tell you this? And it doesn't stop today. It only gets better as we're kind of closing up the year with all of my guests. So in this episode, this guest is amazing, but I always tell people, don't fret, because if you happen to have missed any of the past episodes, it's okay. I always encourage people to subscribe and share my YouTube page, M.A.Y.A Speaks to You, because then you'll be notified when new episodes are posted. Of course, you can always find episodes on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Audibles. I always tell people pretty much if it's a podcast platform, you can find me there. Just search M.A.Y.A, My Ambition, Your Ambition. Of course, I always ask people, get social with me. I finally got it together and have all of my social media platforms on one handle at M.A.Y.A Speaks to You. So it makes you a little bit easier to find me. And of course, you can always find everything M.A.Y.A on my website, maya-speaks.com. The podcast link is there. And I have two aspects of it that I really love. I have the inspirational blog where on Wednesdays, just one post a week, I share something that I want you to really chew on and think about. This week's post is about the idea of peace. I want people to step away from the idea of saying, rest in peace. You hear people now saying things like give people their flowers where they're alive. Well, the thing is, I want you to think about living in peace while you're here and not peace while you're gone. It's a very powerful thing that I'm working on, and I hope you'll enjoy the post. But the other piece to it is I have Me on Pause. And you should know that's my menopause blog. I am so passionate about my menopause blog because I am the poster child for menopause. Of the 60 known symptoms, yes, you heard what I just said, 60 known symptoms that are related to menopause. Most women don't know that. I probably have had at least 20 of them. So if you're scratching your head and going, there's 60 symptoms that could be related to going through that hormonal change, yes, there is. So my Me on Pause blog likes to tackle some of those different things that you don't know and share. So someone said something that was interesting as I had my last guest on, who happened to be Justin Artist, who we'll talk about in a moment. You know, he's married and his wife is within that window. And I just kind of said to myself, I always push the blog for women to log on and to learn new things about how, for instance, depression, anxiety, irritability, brain fog can be heavy during the change. Most people don't talk about that mental health perspective. And that's what started me to doing it. I came to realize that, well, why wouldn't I not tell men to also check out the blog? So when your wife might be extremely irritable with you or having a moment, you'll have a better idea why she might be feeling that way. So I'm also going to encourage the fellas to check out the blog too. But with that all being said and done, I always say the easiest thing to do now, I finally got it together, and I actually have an app that I wasn't doing like a really good job with promoting. I have to own this, guys, because I wear a lot of hats when I do things. And so you can always get the M.A.Y.A Experience app, and this is fantastic. It's everything M.A.Y.A on the go. So pretty much everything from podcasts to watch, you can go back and listen. The blogs are accessible through my app as well. Everything M.A.Y.A is right there. So I made it easy where you can go ahead and scan the QR codes, and it'll take you right to downloading. So if you have an Apple phone, obviously you go to the Apple Store, and Amazon is for all of my Android users. And I would tell you that would be the easiest way, without a doubt, to actually connect with the show. With that being said, before we jump into our next guest, one of the things that I definitely have to share with you is my last guest was super powerful. And a lot of people really were like, he said some stuff that just kind of blew my mind. So if you didn't get a chance to check out the episode we had on Saturday with Justin Artist, I'm going to tell you something. You missed a really powerful conversation with someone who is teaching leadership through music. And I know a lot of people kind of think, wow, I can't imagine what that would be. But his creative energy has taken him global. But he helps aspiring artists to understand business that can be very, very cumbersome and not easy to navigate. He has something called A&R in a pocket that can take all of these tools that you need if you want to be an aspiring artist to get to that point. So I would definitely tell you that you would want to check out that episode with Justin. Fantastic episode. But without further ado, my next guest, I am so absolutely excited about it because I love anybody who can put on the table empowerment, especially for women. And this next guest, Lateshia Pearson, is just that and then some. She's an aspiring author. She's a savvy businesswoman. Her background is the essence of what hustle looks like, but it's when you take that passion, purpose. I'm going to say hers is just not ambition. She's like legitimate hustle. And when you pull it together, what it comes into. So she's all that, but she's also a reality TV personality. And her idea to me is fantastic. And we'll jump in that a bit. But without further ado, let's bring to the ambition stage, Lateshia Pearson. Hello, Lateshia. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I am
weather change, so I got a little tickle in my throat. Thank you so much for having me. You look amazing.
What? Well, you know what? Now I'm feeling flattered because I'm having the worst hair day ever. But okay.
Girl, me too. It's raining here. Everything. You look amazing, girl. You look good.
Thank you. So do you. And because I am now a legitimate fan of the Belle Collective.
Yay!
Guys, we're gonna jump into. And anybody who knows me, Lateshia, knows that I'm not necessarily a big reality TV person. But when I tell you, when you can get me locked into something like this, you're doing something good. Because it's just so not me, and it's so unique. But before we jump into the Belle Collective, because there's a lot to talk about, and I know you guys are in season 6 right now, I think people need to understand why that show is so powerful, and it is because of you. And mind you, when I bring people on, I don't just say things to fluff you up and make you feel good. You are legitimately the reason that show to me is so successful, because you're about women empowerment. You're about sisterhood. And I'm going to say this, you have the patience of a saint to be friends and to work with all those women. So tell us, who is Lateshia Pearson coming out of Jackson, Mississippi?
Oh, you're so sweet. Yes, this is me. I like to say this is me. This is me. I'm from a small town in Mississippi called Lateshia, Mississippi. About 1,500 people. They are born and raised here, of course, in Mississippi. And I'm just a girl out here, really walking in purpose. Just loving people, loving on people, meeting people where they are, being unapologetically myself, and that's just it.
That's not just saying that's just it is that's not all, because you do so much. Because
Yeah.
besides the fact that I feel like you are a good example, and one of the reasons that I started to do the ambition shows outside of just doing my podcast is because a lot of people just sometimes don't buy into that adversity can be hard, but you can
Yeah.
push through it and you can still achieve what you're looking to do. So
Yeah.
I started to come across people who took their passion and their purpose and
Hmm.
they pushed it forward with their ambition and motivation. But almost every single one of those people actually came from a spot of adversity. It wasn't something that was easily for them to put together. So tell us a bit about what kind of brought to the table for you the women's brunch, because I feel like that is such an amazing and powerful thing that you do with women to help them to connect and to begin to embrace sisterhood.
Absolutely. So for me, everything that I do, everything that I have going on, it comes from a place of experience, a place of purpose, a place of passion. And, just growing up, I've always been that girl. I'm a servant. I love to serve. How can I help people become the better version of themselves? And I'm constantly getting asked like, Tisha, do you know this person? Do you know that person? Can you put me in contact with this person? Do you know a lawyer? Because I'm a paralegal, or how can you help me do whatever it is? And I've always been that bridge. But I didn't have a name or anything behind it. And I went to an event and there was a conference and it was a women's conference. And I'm like, oh my God, these women were literally like, how can I help you and how can you help me? And it wasn't something that they were just saying, Maya. They were like actually changing numbers and exchanging numbers and having conversations. And I'm like, oh my God. And I believe in, create the change you wish to see, become the change you wish to see. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring this back to Mississippi and put it on a bigger scale as to where can women in our own state, how can we network? How can we collaborate? How can we beat that stereotype that women cannot work together, right? So I was like, all right, I prayed about it. I had my first event. It was called Mingling Over Mimosas Business Brunch. I didn't know if one person would show up. I didn't care. I just live by supply demand. And I know this is something that we needed. And also when I have a vision and God gives me a vision, I understand that you have to really walk in there right now and trust the process and understand that he's going to give you everything that you need. You are a magnet. So girl, I was like, you know what? I put my flyer out there. I had a young lady that I was friends with at that time. She was a decorator. I was like, the tickets are $20. And this was like 2017. So I hired a lady from like a local church to do us some food, just country style, give me some grits, some eggs.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. And so when I got that first $20 ticket, I was like, oh my God, that felt like $1 million, because I live by, if we can inspire just one. If just one, if you could just inspire just one. So that first, I'll never forget that feeling of that one ticket being purchased. To make a long story short, there was like 60 some tickets. When the brunch, like when the doors opened, we had like over 100 people. And I can remember going to tell the lady in the kitchen, I said, oh my God, there are more people. She was like, well, we're out of meat. And I was like, girl, we from the country, do some grits and eggs, put them in a bowl. You know what I mean? It was like, whip it up. And we just took from there. And after that, I received so many emails. I received so many people were reaching out to me. When is the next one? When is the next one? And I was like, you know what, God, I need you to give me a name. Because I didn't know when the next one. I literally trust the process with this. And I prayed about it. And then Women Brunch Mississippi, because the initial goal and still is to brunch the entire state of Mississippi, and just from a place of me coming from a small town, looking out the window, knowing that I'm of this environment, like I'm in this environment, but I'm not of this environment. My mindset is so much bigger. Mm-hmm. So I was like, you know what? I can inspire people who are sitting home and they're looking out their window. Like, what are we going to do? Like, I don't see the opportunities around me physically, but I can see them mentally. So that was just the goal. And here we are. And it has led to so many opportunities. I have met so many amazing women. Just the brunch platform in itself, it was able to open a door for Belle Collective. It was able to open a door for, other entrepreneurs and powerful women in the state to be able to be showcased to millions across the globe. And when you guys tune in and watch us, on the OWN network. And it has just been an amazing experience. I'm able to travel Jamaica, get booked to go places, so I'm just grateful. And I tell people all the time, just follow the purpose. If you follow the purpose, the money will come.
You said two things that resonate so strongly with me. First, you channeled your inner Gandhi when you said, be the change you seek to see in the world. And that's often what people miss, is that the vision begins with you. You know, your vision is not outside of you. And so many people always believe that I want to be like someone else. Here's what I just heard Lateshia say. I'm about to do Lateshia and I'm about to do it big. And boy, boy, have you done it. And I love the fact that you trusted yourself. You
Yeah.
trusted what you wanted in your passion and you made it into your purpose. And the second thing you said is, if you build it, they will come.
That's true.
And that's, you did those two energies are so big to me. So when I actually had talked to you and, you know, you had said from Jackson, Mississippi, you know, I was like, what? Because let's be honest, Jackson unfortunately, Jackson probably holds a reputation like Chicago does. Everybody thinks Chicago is super violent and not safe. And that's not true. I'm not going to say it doesn't have its issues, but it's often what's kind of put out there is a little bit over the top and not exactly true. And actually, when I thought about Jackson, Mississippi, I was like, there's something going on in Jackson, because in my mind, I just didn't see it that way. Though for where I am from, especially in Illinois, there is a big connection between Black Illinoisans and Mississippi, because there was a big migration in the 60s and 70s to come up here and work. So you will find a lot of Black people that are from Jackson, Bay Springs, Hattiesburg, the whole 9 yards, who jumped on the bus or the train and they came to Chicago. So when you told me like there was this rebirth, I was like, this is interesting. And then you said Farish Street, which I'd never heard of. And I instantly did some research. Tell my listeners about Farish Street, because I guarantee you these kind of places existed in so many places and no one knows about it.
Yeah, Farish Street was like the Black Mecca here. I can remember my grandfather, God rest his soul, telling me about Farish Street. His sister had a salon down there. He said it used to be everything, like it was just a hub for Black people, like anything that you needed. And it was so loving. It was so like, you know, unity, like it was so much unity there. And I was just like, I want to rebuild it. It's just hearing his stories and knowing that his sister had, you know, she was a successful entrepreneur down on Farish Street doing, you know, as my granddaddy said, Black folks hair and stuff like that. Yes. And I just dived into it, and there was just like, you know, physicians there, you know, our own dentists with grocery stores, but like it was just a place. It was like the Black Mecca. So that was so like so interesting to me. And I started researching and I wanted to really initially, when we came onto the show, to bring that back. And I still would love to see that, but you know, there are a lot of things that's going on that's above me, but that would definitely be a dream come true, to see that historic district revitalized.
Absolutely. And so when I met you and I started watching the show, because I'm like this, it was tempting to say, okay, I can just, you know, start at the end. I'm like, no, I feel like there's a journey here that I need to see kind of unfold with the Belle Collective. So, but before we jump into that, I want to definitely promote the things you do with the Women's Brunch, because when I was in episode or season 3, I do realize that you kind of started taking it on the road. You were taking it to other places. Kind of, how has that evolved for you?
Oh my gosh. So much. We did like a southeastern tour, and that was so amazing. And believe it or not, it was just like a handful of us. So I mean, we made it happen. We traveled. We did Memphis, New Orleans. We did like Columbus, Georgia. We went to North Carolina. Of course, we were here in Jackson. We went to Alabama. So it was southeastern. So now, and it takes a lot to like put them on. So we're in the process now of doing another tour, getting that together. And it takes time, because it's more so, it's more than just, okay, event planning. That's one event. But when you're planning multiple events, you have to make sure that there's so much you're doing in each city. So this time we like, hey, we learned, there were some hiccups, there were some mistakes, and that's okay. I love that. I love the journey. The journey is where it is. So I'm excited, and I will definitely keep you updated when we get all the dates and everything in the cities finalized. I think you and I spoke about coming to your area.
You gotta come to Chicago. You gotta come to Chicago.
I love Chicago. I have family in Chicago from Mississippi, of course. They moved there during that time. So absolutely, I love Chicago.
Wonderful. Yes. I mean, even when I saw, like, you know, you kind of ran one of the brunches you did a couple different ones on the show, and I just could see the intensity of the women listening. You could just feel the vibe in the room, that it's such a positive thing. And we need more spaces like that for women, especially right now, currently in the country. We need spaces like that for women to feel supported, because when you are under duress, you know, it kind of makes you feel like, wow, where can I go where I feel safe? So something like this, I think, is an amazing space. So when I also did my research after we had met, I saw, okay, you have Lateshia Pearson Enterprises, and I also said, it looks like you work with people, like you'll do coaching. Is that correct?
Yes, I do. I have Empower Me Sis. I have a mentorship program, and under that is so much. It's really the Lateshia Pearson brand. I do so much. Of course, I do speaking engagements. People call it motivational speaking. I just like to really just be led, right, and say what I have to say. Yes, and I have my program, of course, my mentorship program. I am a Belle bondsman. I've been a Belle bondsman since 2011. I do now freelance paralegal. I was a paralegal for 12, I think, years or so. Wow. And yeah, so now I'm doing that. It's so much going on. I have some amazing endeavors coming down the pipeline as well. So everything is just, the brand itself is growing so huge, and I'm so grateful. And so yeah, it's so much. Definitely a powerhouse over here.
Oh, you are. I mean, this is exactly when you take. It sounds to me like you legitimately found what you are passionate about.
Yeah.
And you turned it into your purpose. And that's the thing I always talk to people about. Passion without purpose is not going to have the motivation it needs.
Right.
And purpose without passion will not have the direction that it needs to drive forward. So they're so in tandem with each other. And you're such a good example of that. So here it is, you wearing many hats. Because of course, you're a mom, you're married, you're a daughter, you're a businesswoman, you're a really good friend because you got the patience of a saint. I'm gonna say that again. We'll get to that. I was like, oh, she can do that so good. Because right now I'm like, look, girl. I'm like, look, I'm gonna tell you something about this show, guys. So when you watch this, everyone who knows me knows I'm not really a reality TV person. I'm a nerd. So I'm kind of like a sci-fi. I'm like a Discovery Channel, Smithsonian person. Like I just like stuff like that. But I enjoy a little kind of him and Han poking at stuff every now and then to kind of loosen it up. So when I met you, I started watching the show, the Belle Collective. I'm like, let me start from the beginning because I want to see how the story evolves. And the very first thing, though we talked about it, that resonated with me was often when you see a lot of reality TV, beyond the fact it always seems catty and fighting and all that kind of stuff, I always felt like the story, because it's predominantly women, because I always say reality shows are like the new soap operas for women or people.
Yeah,
they really are. Because if you look at it, soap operas are almost gone, but the amount of reality shows, there's tons of them. So that it's kind of like that new programming thing, except it has a lot more reality to it, obviously, because it's real life stuff. And the thing I noticed instantly was, here are a lot of really, I would say, put together women. It doesn't mean their lives are perfect, but they're entrepreneurs, and we were seeing their lives through their lens as a person, as an entrepreneur, as a woman, not as someone's wife, which I'm not saying is wrong. I'm not downing that, but I was liking to see that the drive that these women had. So in that first season, it was, of course, you, and then there was the dentist, and then there's Marie, like the therapist, which, I enjoy that piece a lot. Then there's Tamra, who is the radio host. Then Latrice, Latrice, who Goddess Lengths her hair products. I'm missing someone here. Who did I miss in that first season?
That's it in the first season.
Yeah. And I just kind of watched this storyline happen. And I thought, not only was I then watching you guys as entrepreneurs, but then I realized you're giving something that a lot of other shows don't get. We then got to see you as partners, as wives or girlfriends, and the struggles that go into that. Being a parent. There was a good narrative even about familial connections, your grandparents and the roles they play in your life, the celebration of Black love and parenting, the celebration of Black love in your show. I'm all for it.
Thank you.
Seeing that, but you guys had a truth to a lot of stuff you say, that's why I would encourage people to watch it, because to me, it is probably one of the realest shows. I'm not being funny when I say that, about the interaction that you guys show. So tell my guests, where did the idea of the Belle Collective come from?
That is so good. Oh my gosh. Don't make me. I was just listening. First of all, thank you so much. I love hearing that, because that's been the goal, to really just show real people navigating through real life, right? And not some made up, not to knock any other shows, but our show is so different. It is so unique. I mean, you have these women straight out of Mississippi just being their authentic selves, and whatever that may look like to us individually, we don't care. What you see is what you get, and we're just grateful for the opportunity. But I will say, myself and a friend of mine by the name of Jacoby, He was working with me with the Women Brunch. He was helping to organize. He was younger, of course, than me, very great, very into entrepreneurship. And he wanted to just learn more. And he shared with me that Carlos King had opened up a slot and to be able to pitch women, like pitch a show. And I was like, oh my goodness, that is so amazing. And Jacoby was like, you talk about these, these females, you talk about Mississippi, you always want to, I was reading the comments. They said it's a lie because Maya hates everything on TV.
See, people know me, like they know, like we might have to go check this out.
So yeah, and he was like, you know what? Here's an opportunity, and I believe in shooting my shot. And these women that I pitched, I was inspired by them. I didn't even pitch myself. Like I was more so wanting to be behind the scenes to just help in any capacity and serve these ladies in any way. But I always have to give credit to Carlos King because he was able to see something in me that I did not see in myself, and he was like, girl, you got it. I'm not pitching this unless you come on over here. And I'm like, what? This wasn't on my vision board, and I thank God for it. I thank God, trust in the process. And it has been an amazing experience. And I'm glad again that he didn't overlook Mississippi. As a visionary, he said, you know what? Other people like yourself, what is in Jackson, Mississippi? And it's like, and he looked at it from, from a vision, from a visionary, and said, well, what is in Mississippi? If that's a question of many millions of others, he was like, hey, as a visionary and an executive producer, I'm going to show people what's in Mississippi. And he's been showing for like 6-7 years now. And so forever grateful. So that's how it started. And I just wanted to highlight Mississippi and show women we're really down here doing things. There's more to us than what you guys may think or what you guys may, have witnessed on television. Yes, that is our history, but also we're creating a new history, right? And it's just been an amazing experience.
Yeah, I'm like, it's such an amazing show. And it's interesting because in watching it, you get to see glimpses of Jackson. And I'll be honest, a couple times I was like, that's kind of swanky to be in Jackson.
See, look at you. Exactly. It's so different. Like it is. I mean, we are really doing some amazing things down here. Like you really see, just doing some amazing things, making some boss moves. You like and really giving back to our communities.
And one of the things after we had talked, I'll do a lot of research on different stuff because interesting enough, my sister lives in Jackson.
Okay.
And I went down. I went down for a couple visits, not a ton, and I was like, I don't think I saw that part. But we also didn't venture out and do a lot either. Okay. So I can't put it on and say I went out and there was nothing there. But I was reading something online once, and it actually listed Jackson as one of the up and coming areas for entrepreneurship. It said there's a lot of opportunity for growth and to build because it's not overdeveloped and it's an area that often is looking to bring other different aspects into the city. And I was like, well, look at Lateshia being ahead of the curve on this one.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Nobody but God. And you got to move in that. I think a lot of times we allow fear to stop us. We'll allow like I just said with my brunches, how many people going to show up? Or do we think people are going to show up? Or you can't worry about that. If you build it, they will come. Like you have to shoot your shot. I hear the younger kids saying now, shoot your shot.
Yep.
Please shoot your shot. That's it.
That's it. Everybody, if you don't know about the Belle Collective, it airs on Fridays for 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You can watch it on the OWN network. Of course, we know that's the Oprah Winfrey Network. And they're into season 6, which that right there, I was like, we've been missing this for all this time. And it's good.
Yes.
Tell me something.
Program, girl. Give it the program. I'm glad you
I gotta get with the program, but don't worry, we got to put you somewhere on the map. You know what I mean? Because I was like, I believe that people will watch this and be like, this is actually some good stuff. And I'll be honest, you had a couple different scenarios that unfolded in the show, and I was like, I can relate to that, or I know somebody who could relate to that because that was so close to something that happened to somebody. So I think it's got a lot of connection points to it. So you pitch the ideal to Carlos King, you blow him away. And he's like, yes, this is, and he was smart. It's something different. It's something new. But how did you then decide who was going to be part of the Belle Collective? Because I know that had to be a tedious, but very important thing you had to decide because you didn't want to put just anybody out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. So just women that I like personally that's here in the area that myself, that even me, that inspired me. Women that were doing amazing things. You have like, Marie, who created a multi-million-dollar home health company. You have, Latrice Rogers here, who sold millions of dollars worth of hair out of her trunk. Right. You have at that time the dentist who was really doing dentistry. I think her goal was to help others after she really got to where she wanted to be. You have Tambra. You can't come into Jackson without hearing the Midday Diva. So there were so many, and of course I pitched a few others, but that was left up to Carlos, who he wanted. Once he decided, he has the final say, and that's just how it happened.
Yeah, no, and that right there can tell people just how much you think you had to select from people. And some people's minds, I might have thought, really, there was that many people to select from. That just goes to show you. And there are movers and shakers everywhere.
Everywhere.
But a lot of times, people will take this narrative, and I have to say, I was slightly guilty of it. I just didn't think there was more there than what there is, because it's very easy for people to kind of have the stereotype in their mind of, and I'm not sure if it's so much Jackson as much as it's the idea of Mississippi. Because probably people think more about the Gulf. Then they're like, oh, like that area down Biloxi and things like that. They kind of see that as being, oh, that's a nice place. But I think because there's this image of what people think Mississippi is, they miss out on something that could be really good. And yet you brought this together. So
I know exactly, because I was calling like my aunt. I was calling my family in Chicago. Like every time I would go visit, I'm like, am I going to get shot at? So it's just like, you know what I mean? I'm being honest. So we have to, and that's, so I get it, because I'm guilty of doing that myself, right? And so you just really tap in and you don't know. And again, shout out to, Kingdom Reign and OWN Network for showcasing something else.
Yes, it gives you, there's a richness to it, because it isn't just this, it's a reality show, but it has, to me, you guys are showcasing to me a lot of history. I also feel one of the things I do like about the show is, especially whether it's someone has a partner or whether somebody is married, I do think you guys do a really good job with promoting marriages can have a problem, but they also can be healthy.
Yes.
It's not like just taking the negative. I like how there always seems to be good balance, even to the relationship dynamics between the women with Sisterhood. So I'm going to ask you this question, because I feel you have the patience of a saint. And I'm gonna be flat out honest. At 53, I might have cussed them all out by now.
I know.
Hold up. It's like, oh, she's so good. I was like, I don't think I could do it. But it is a bigger challenge. And the thing is, I really thought about this as I was watching. I was like, friendships are really harder than people realize.
Yeah.
Maintaining sisterhood can be very difficult. And the thing I like about you is you do such a good job of trying to navigate people. See, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give things away, because I want people to watch it. But you could have people in conflict. And the thing that you do constantly that I love, I was like, she is always finding the good in somebody. You won't just write people off or just say, I'm not going to do this. You give everybody an opportunity. Like you said, shots fired, So you give everybody a opportunity to do right or to do better. You don't just kind of say, well, you messed up and I'm going to roll you out. You sit down, you talk about it, and you really do help try to give them the opportunity to do better. How do you navigate that like that?
I don't know. I just think for me, everything that my grandmother says and everything that happens, to me, is basically, we go back to that. You treat people how you want to be treated. Right?
Yeah, yes, which is the golden rule, and you think more people follow it.
You treat it, and I feel like at the end of the day, where for me, I meet people where they are. Like, I don't sit into anything. My first instinct, my first thing is to love. Like, I lead with love, right? I love to lead with love, and I like to see the good in people. I don't judge people by a mistake, because I know that we're all imperfect humans, and I know they're good. There's some good in somebody. I want to try. My goal is to find out what hurt you and what caused you to act this way. What are you running from? What have you experienced that make you feel this way? I just believe in like treating people how you want to be treated. I know that life is like a boomerang. Whatever you put out there is coming back, and I say this all the time, and I tell a lot of my mentees this as well. A lot of times people are not looking for someone to believe in them. They're just needing someone to believe with them. And that makes a difference. And that's even in friendship. We are human. We are human. Relationship, friendships. You go through things. Every day you're not going to be happy. Every day things are not going to be perfect, and you just have to,
No, I agree with that. And you're saying something that I think people lose sight of. Everyone, this is Lateshia Pearson. She is our guest. Actually, she's the 15th guest that has stepped onto the ambition stage. And we're talking sisterhood and women empowerment because what she does is so amazing. So one of the things I noticed, and I was like, gosh, I don't know how much I'd like that. When you decide to do a reality show, your life has to be out there for people to see. And I definitely feel like you've had some tough moments. Seriously. How do you navigate that and not feel overwhelmed by it?
Just through my experiences, just my tough experiences, I've had so many tough experiences, but I realize too, you can't just sit in stuff. Like it's easy to just sit in stuff, right? And I say this to myself too. It's okay to have a moment. Like I want to be negative for 5 minutes. Allow me to be negative. Like, and then, because I tell people it's okay, because they think positive. That's great. But realistically, let's sit in it, be negative, say negative things if you want to, sit in that moment. And then it's like, okay, you got 5 minutes, get it all out. And then you have to definitely transition back, into like that moment, of, this life is happening for me and not to me. So, yeah.
There you go. You say something, see, like you have an inner therapist there. I can tell it. I can hear it. Because one of the things that people often think they can't do is sit in their negativity. I explained to people that it's okay. I said, marinate in whatever feeling you're having, even if it's negative, because it's a real emotion that you need to address and figure out why you're feeling it. And once you sit in it, I'll even give you a day or two. Then you need to step out of it and really ask yourself, I feel this way, but is it really something that's based on fact or just feeling? And then you proceed to move forward. But I don't like when people think or they feel like they can't actually have a negative emotion, that there's no space for it, because that's not accurate. There is space. And I'm glad you said that. People realize you got to let yourself feel the good with the bad in order to rise.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just what it is. So, and you're so positive yourself,
I try. I have my days. I make a running joke with my husband, like, because I'm dead smack in the middle of going through the menopausal transition. So I'll just flat out tell people this is a menopause day. Just gonna let you know. So I'm gonna say what I think, how I feel, and if I'm having a hot flash, I'm like, look, this is just life. It's how it's happening. But no, I always say there's only so much that you can do when it comes to you control what you can. And a lot of people get very caught up in the things that they can't control. And that's often where a lot of things go difficult. And that's when I watch you navigate these relationships with people on the show. I'm like, that's really like not even something that she can honestly fix. But here you are always advocating. You're like, I think in essence of who you are, one, you're truly empathetic, but I feel like just the core of your being is you're an advocate for people. Like,
thank you. I am. I do. I really do. I really genuinely love people. I like to see people happy. I like to see people betting on themselves. I like to just see people operate in authenticity, whatever that may look like to them. I just like to see people becoming the best version of themselves and understand that, hey, honey, life may happen, but you don't have to sit there. Let's continue to go. If you're looking at me and I'm looking at you, there's still a bigger purpose. So I really do. I genuinely love to just really advocate for people and, be a voice. If they can't be a voice, if you can't say what you want to say, I can help you say what you want to say. Just be you, whatever you need. Like, I'm just a vessel. And that's who I am in my core.
No, and that's something that's, you are consistent. You're very consistent throughout the show. And like I said, I'm moving to season 4. She has been consistently Lateshia the entire time. That's one of the things I love, when people are consistent in who they are. So this is a show that has gone 6 seasons. And when I tell you I was floored that had never heard of it until I came across you, I was like, this is like something. But again, if you're a binge watcher, this might be the best thing that has happened to you for the winter months. You're about to find something that you can sit down and watch because you guys are into season 6. Tell me a bit about, okay, so season 6, you guys, I've seen there's been some cast change along the way. And I figure out as I move through the seasons why. So what makes season 6, would you say, like, what's unique about it? What's the thing about it? You're like, this season has come to this. This was a big moment for it.
Oh, what I love and what I'll just say, you just never know what you're going to get. And I think as like our supporters out there, that's what they love about the Belle Collective, because I think that they can sense what we know, and we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to unfold. It's not one of those things you say, oh, this is going to happen this season. This is going to happen. That is going to happen. It's nothing like that. Like, we literally don't know. So every moment there's like a, what? You know what I mean? That's what I love. You know, we just never know. We are real people, and you guys happen to judge with cameras in our faces. Like, and this is what it is. We don't know. There's no script. There's no, take 2. There is none of that. And I just, that's what's that's what's keeping us on season after season after season. And that's just us showing up as our authentic selves. And that's just what it is.
And the thing is, I actually really believe you when you say that, because when you watch, like if you watch any, sometimes things can feel very scripted. It doesn't. I just feel like this situation was very opportunistic, and here it was right there. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it does have that unique and then feeling that this is your guys' lives unfolding. Because like I said, you guys share a lot of stuff. I'm like, that would be a tough thing to share with people, knowing that now everybody legitimately is in your business. Like, they're in your business. There's no escape from it.
Yeah. When it comes to like the core of us, like the actual Bells, like what you see is what you get. Like, you have like your outsiders wanting to come in to get like, some time, right? And then that's when it starts to like, but when we talk about, and it has nothing to do with us or production, it's just people wanting that 15 minutes or, 11 minutes of fame. But with us, the core, like what you see is literally what you get. And we have to stand in it. Sometimes we have to apologize when we don't want to, but we are real people with real emotions.
Yes.
Right. And these are our families. This is my life. This is just what it is. Do you think that, and I even said a lot of times, like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have said this, that, and the other. I shouldn't have put my entire, marriage and different things. But then when I go into like the airport, or I'm booked to come here and speak across the world, it's like, oh my God, you inspire me. Like, I did not know that I could really get past this. Or I didn't know, you stood up for yourself here, and I went home and I stood up to my husband here, and I was able to tell people, how I feel. Be a good person, but don't spend the rest of your life trying to prove it. So once that, like, I put all that into perspective, because I'm like, everything got to make sense for me, right? I'm here in this space. Why? So I'm here in this space, not because I want you guys to see me every Friday night. I'm in this space so that I can be an inspiration, and hopefully my story will help other people heal or create that business, or, just be a listening ear. So that's just why I'm here.
And one of the things that kind of caught me, and if everyone has a unique story, and I like following a bit, obviously, because I met you, I kind of pay closer attention, but you also have these nuggets within your storyline. I'm like, this is like interesting. So you're married, Glenn, high school sweethearts. Did I get that right?
Yeah. Well, we didn't go to the same high school.
Right.
He graduated the year before me. So, but he did go to my high school prom with me.
Right. So one of the things that I think is unique about that is, people often say how difficult it can be to sustain a marriage when you start dating somebody when you were a teenager, because you're going to go through those life changes. You're going to mature. And the question is, do you still stay on the same page, aligned? And actually, I feel like when I watch you guys, I'm probably watching as a therapist too, but I'm watching it because I was like, they are walking what I feel to be a very difficult role in marriage. Marriage is already challenging. It is. And it's work. It's work, people. So don't get married if you think you're not putting some work.
Yeah, it's definitely work.
It's work, but it's it's good work. It's like anything else; it requires maintenance. But I thought you guys had that extra added kind of difficulty because you started dating really young, and you guys have matured. And I think that is interesting. Your marriage in the storyline, I was like, there's so many people that can look at that and say, interesting how they navigate that, because you still see the passion along with the conflict.
Yeah, for sure. And that's every day. That's every day with us for sure. Because you have to think about it. Like you said, we were kids. I was 17. Glenn was 18. Like we've been married. So we got together in 1998. And we've been married for 22 years. July of this year made 22 years.
Someone's
So
like, that can't be true. They're like, you only 22. Lateshia, how you been married for 22 years?
let the people know. Let the people know, honey. But yeah, so it's like we have really everything, and I tell people anything that could possibly hit a marriage, we've experienced it.
I
And
believe
you
that
use
though.
imagination, so we have experienced it, and it's just kind of like one of those things that we grew up together. We are friends, we are family, we have really just we really just navigated life together. You got to think. So that's where we are when it comes to that and what you guys see on the show and different things like that. So yeah, it is a journey. It is a process because we've been together for so long.
And it's interesting when you say that, because part of what pops into my head with that is, as an individual, most people never really pour into themselves. We tend to live in the roles that we are pretty much born into. So we're instantly somebody's daughter automatically, and then we might be a granddaughter, and then become someone's friend, and then we're someone's wife or partner. Often we're somebody's employee. And the one role I find most people do really poorly at navigating or even embracing until maybe they have an epiphany is the role of being you. And I feel, since I've been watching through this different seasons, I have been watching you evolve.
Yeah, thank you. That's the goal. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's the goal. Stay tuned, because right now I'm evolving even more as we film the new season.
Oh, I believe it. I can't. Like I said, I can't wait. Like I said, I'm pushing through my episodes. I even got my husband watching it.
Yes. And I love it.
He's like, what are you watching? He's like, oh, what's this? Oh.
What's this? Thank you so much. No, I appreciate it. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just grateful. Like I say all the time, I've been saying this lately. Things are just around in life, and just let life happen. Let life happen. Enjoy. Like just let life happen. Whatever is supposed to happen to you is going to happen to you. I still live by, I'm a magnet. And everything that I need will be attracted unto me. So I'm just like, what? Let it flow, and God got the rest.
There you go. Let it flow, and it will go where it is supposed to go. But a lot of people like to fight. They like to fight the current of life. And that's what makes it so much harder to get to where you need to be. Lateshia Pearson, you are absolutely amazing. What is on your table for 2026 as your next big project that you're excited about?
Oh my gosh, I really can't say right now. I want you guys
tell me. It's secret.
Oh, because I put it out prematurely, but I think you're going to love it for sure. You're going to love it for sure. And I'm just excited. I'm just excited about everything that is happening. I'm excited about, just the elevation and just the peace, the love, and things that are just happening. Once we let go and just let things flow, life will start to get easy, and just be a good person. So
let's see what and this is a tough viewer right here. She doesn't like a lot either. This is funny. She said, y'all cooking this episode. Their ambition is feeling real infectious right now. Bought some popcorn and seats for the comment section.
Yay! Okay, girl. Yes. Keep them talking. Keep them talking.
It's interesting enough. So one of the things, so I'm an Aquarius. And so I'm the person who can have a million ideas, right? And they all go into the ether. Because I'm just like that. I'm like, oh, this is great. And the thought I kept having as I'm watching this show, I was like, if there was a chat room somewhere about this show, I actually would be in it, like putting some stuff in there. Seriously.
Yeah.
What kind of social media or things like that is there anything wrapped around the show that if people want to be more interactive and things like that, besides watching, that they can be involved in?
I would have no clue.
Oh, then we got to talk to somebody about that, because
I would have no clue. I mean, because I'm sure there are a lot of sites that people create. Like groups, but not like with the show. Nothing
specific about the show. Okay, so people can
that we created. So I'm sure you have a free will to create your own, but not
nothing that you guys kind of say this is our space where our fans who support the show kind of get together and chat about it and stuff like that.
No, ma'am, we don't.
Okay, you don't have to. Like you said, people
I
create.
don't any of us have that type of time.
No, you probably don't. No, somebody else would be needing to do that.
Oh
for
yeah,
you, not you.
yes.
Yeah, no, you don't have enough time to be doing all that by any stretch of the imagination. Well, Lateshia, as always, you are amazing. Everybody, first and foremost, you have to support this, not just because you're supporting somebody who's an amazing person, but because of what she's doing is fantastic. Lateshia Pearson has so much going on. So you can always get connected with her. I always tell people, get social. So you can find you on IG at Lateshia Pearson, X, pretty much the same thing. I love it. Your social media handles are all settled and together. Of course, the easy thing to do is to learn more about you is to go to your website. They can learn more about the Women's Brunch, which is a platform for female entrepreneurs and businesswomen, as well as you heard her talk about having mentees, which means, if you're looking to take your life to that next level and you feel stuck, sometimes you just need somebody else's, perspective, not necessarily vision, people, but perspective. Walk into the room with your own vision, and you might need someone just to help you tighten up the focus. And Lateshia would be the person who could definitely help you do that. The other piece, remember, they are into season 6 of the Belle Collective. Remember, it airs every Friday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can watch it on the OWN network, the Oprah Network. And you know what? How I've been watching the show right now is on demand, because obviously I'm catching up with all the episodes. So you can get connected with the ladies of the Belle Collective. Just pretty much go to the OWN network page, click on shows, and right there you'll see it. And almost all of those different shows are on demand. That has how I am catching up. I am into season 4. And let me just say this, I am not disappointed. And I'm not a person that watches a lot of stuff. This is interesting and juicy all at the same time.
Thank you. Thank you for your support. Oh my God. I need you as my hype girl. You need to come on.
Do that. Come on.
You need to come on.
No, I'm kidding.
Let's talk afterwards. Let's talk. No, seriously, we
Mm.
talked about, collaborating and doing some things. So definitely.
Yes, we have. I've met so many people and doing these ambition shows. I was like, okay, we got to collaborate, because there's so much out there, and but you're doing content. I feel that people, women especially, they need this content. FYI, guys, the upper corner, there's a QR code. I try to make things easy for people. You can scan that QR code. It's going to take you right to Lateshia's website for Lateshia Pearson's enterprise. So for the person who tried to check me on my QR codes on screen, what I found out about the iPhone was if you click on it on your phone, guess what? It opens the page for you. So someone's like, what do you put in that QR? I can't scan it. I'm watching it on my phone. I'm like, well, according to Apple, you're supposed to be able to click it. That's how you then do it. So click on the QR code. But of course, you can always go to her website as well to catch everything. Any parting thoughts for my listeners, Lateshia?
No, not at all. The only thing I have to say, whatever it is that you want to do. We all know what Nike has to say, and that is just do it. Don't let fear rob you of your purpose. If it's something you want to do, go out there and do it. And if you build it, they will come.
If you build it, they will come. That's true. All right, everybody, this is Lateshia Pearson. Thank you.
Thank you. Great.
Thank you so much. Guys, I can't tell you how it is such a show worth watching, because like I said, you know me, I don't watch a lot of reality TV, but this is just not reality TV to me. This actually has a lot of really good storylines. I'm a mental health person, and I feel a lot of people will watch this show and you'll find something that you can definitely connect with for sure. So we're moving on full steam on the December 15th, which will be another Monday, which will be the wrap up of the ambition shows before we go into next year. I'm going to have obviously the final guest for the year. And at that point, I will start to re-air all the episodes. So coming up, and this is interesting, we're going to kind of bring it back. This might be something that's kind of right in line for the holiday. We're going to have on Marcia Earhart, who is a certified life, grief, trauma, brain and mental health coach. She's a mediator, author, speaker, and a health sync minister. She really focuses on grief and trauma. And legitimately, what makes her story so unique is she created the Rose Sanctuary. And this all came from the loss that she had of her 21-year-old son unexpectedly. And from that, she took something and turned it literally into her passion and purpose. So again, we're going to have another amazing guest coming on that we did have to reschedule at one point, but she's coming back on. She will be on December 15th at 2 p.m. Central Time. So make sure you tune into that episode as well, because around the holidays, a lot of people struggle with the idea of grief. I understand that. So just make sure that you go ahead and you check her out. So everyone, as always, thank you for tuning in to the episode. I definitely appreciate it. You know, the whole purpose of my podcast is to help you to identify your ambition and harness that motivation to help you to acquire the success and satisfaction you seek in your everyday life. I want you guys to think about being happy every day, not something as a future thing. If you've missed any previous episodes of the show, remember you can always find it in iTunes, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Audible, Spotify. To search M.A.Y.A, My Ambition, Your Ambition. Of course, you can always listen to episodes of the show on my website, maya-speaks.com. Remember, you can check out my menopause blog as well as my inspirational blog that gets posted every Wednesday, one time a week. So you can just check it out and see if there's some information that could be good for you, or maybe somebody else could use the information that I share. You can always subscribe and share my YouTube channel along with all of my other social media. M.A.Y.A Speaks to You, and you can find me on Facebook, IG, and X. So you know pretty much how this goes. As I always say to people, until next time, your present becomes your past and your future is no more. So live every day to the fullest. Think about that. A lot of people say, why do you say that? Because a lot of people fail to be present, though they hear it a lot, not realizing that every day you look forward is the future, every single day. And I want people to start rethinking how they're spending their time and their life. All right, everyone, until next time, stay safe. Ciao.
Whether you're on the go or listening on your cell phone, tablet, or laptop, you can find the show in the iTunes, Google, and iHeartRadio platforms.
With all due respect, I believe this is going to be our finest hour.
Just search M.A.Y.A, My Ambition, Your Ambition, and get ready to be inspired and motivated to harness your ambition.